Welcome back, everybody, to the fourth edition of wood-fired brick oven cooking. My name is John Anthony Vincent Savoca. I'm going to be your personal pizza chef tonight. I'm so glad you made it here. We have some delicious food up for you. Let me start by showing you what we have going on. We have some beautiful oysters that my friend dropped off, and that's what happens when you live at the beach. People just come by with oysters, so we're going to make a delicious pizza using those. We have some peppers, some beautiful prosciutto and pepperoni, roasted peppers, and sun-dried tomatoes. Or mozzarella there as well. So tonight what we're going to make for you is a couple of things that are both delicious and simple. One of them is a calzone. I remember the first time I had a calzone, I was with my dad at Sbarro's at the Sunrise Mall in Massapequa, probably 1977. And I bit into this thing and my life was never the same, frankly. It was just this big, delicious, doughy, cheese-filled monster, and I think it had ham in it or something, but I couldn't get enough of it. And so we're going to make one of those tonight with ricotta, mozzarella, and prosciutto. It's going to be fantastic. Additionally, I'm going to make just a regular pizza for my son John, because that's what he likes, and a pepperoni pizza for my son Nicholas. But since we have these oysters, I'm going to get a little inventive and create something with those oysters. Thanks for checking us out. All right, so the first thing we're going to make is the calzone, and we're only going to make one because my kids don't eat them. Shannon and I are going to split one and have a pizza. That's going to be plenty for us. So what we have to do is start by doctoring up our ricotta. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take some pecorino romano. I'm going to drop that in there. I'm also going to put some mozzarella in there as well. I'm going to chop it up and then mix it in with a knife. You can hear the rain. It's raining out there, but not in the restaurant. I'm going to take my chopped mozzarella and I'm going to drop that in my ricotta as well. So it looks like that so far. And I'm going to take some of my basil that I just took out of my garden. I'm going to chop that up really small. I'm going to put that in as well, along with some salt, some oregano, just for fun, because I'm looking at it. I'm going to put a little pinch of breadcrumbs. I'm also going to put in some chopped prosciutto, which is going to make this fantastic. Oh, this is so tender. You know what? I'm just going to pull it apart and put it right in here. So it looks like this at this point, this at this point. And we're just going to mix it up. And that is ready to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take my pizza dough, and I happen to get the this pizza dough from a local pizza shop tonight because I just didn't have time to make my own dough. I like to make my own dough. I trust my dough more than anyone else, frankly, but I know this pizza shop, they're outstanding, so I'm using their dough. And so what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to cut it. Well, first of all, I'm going to put a little flour on it so it's easy to work with. I'm going to put some flour on my pizza board because this is where I'm going to be making my calzone. Take that piece of dough, I'm going to drop it right on the board, and then I'm going to cut it in thirds because it's going to be a nice size calzone. You can cut it in 4 if you want, but I'm going to do it in thirds. Put the rest of this dough over here, and then I'm left with a piece of dough about that size. Now what I'm going to do is press this out, a little bit more flour on there. Now you don't want to put too much flour on, frankly. It should be very, very light because if you put too much flour on, it's going to be very difficult to make the dough stick when you fold it over. This is actually going to be a very large calzone. But that's fine because Shannon and I are splitting it. Check on my fire, looking good. Can you hear that rain coming down? It's awesome. It's not raining under here though. All right, so now if you want to take a look, that's the size of the dough. I'm going to take every bit of this ricotta that I brought out, and my prosciutto, and my salt, and my basil, and I'm going to drop it right on there. All right, so it's important that you leave about an inch outside of where you drop the cheese, because I'm going to pull this over the top. Now, if you pull the cheese too far over to the side, if that cheese gets in this crease right here, it's never going to stick together. And you're going to put it in the oven, it's going to drizzle all over the place. You're going to have a big mess on your hands, and that's not what you want. So you got to have a little bit of space there, right? And you just very simply pull it over. And then you can see that crease there. And that's going to stick beautifully. This is going to, Shannon, this is going to be unbelievable. And you can take the other side of the pizza cutter. We used to like to do this. Smash it down a little bit. And now you're just going to cut off the extra dough just at the edge so it looks a little bit neater. And then also, you're going to give it a little breathing room by putting a little hole in the top, because that'll release some of the pressure. It won't try to force out down here. It's going to, hopefully, the heat and the steam will come right out of the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, actually we'll put it on this other pan. Escuche. I'm going to take my cast iron pan. I'm going to take my olive oil. You can hold that up a little bit higher now. Put a little olive oil in the bottom of the pan. Oh, there we go. This is what I was looking for. I'm going to move this olive oil around. I'm going to take my calzone. I'm going to drop it right in this pan, and this is going to be, that's going to be fantastic, Shannon.
Beautiful.
You know what that's going to taste like?
I'm excited.
Unbelievable. In fact, I'm also just going to take a little bit of olive oil on your fingers if you're making a few, and just dribble it over the top. Beautiful. All right, our pizza oven is ready. It's good and hot. It's about 300 degrees Celsius, which is right around 600 degrees Fahrenheit. It's ready to go. So now what I have to do is use my trusty scraper. I'm gonna brush the fire to the back of the oven so that I have room on the bricks. Nice and easy, because you want to keep that fire going, because that's got to keep heating the oven. That's important. Sweep this up good. The other thing I like to do is take a rag, a wet rag, and just brush it across the bricks. Well, we have another customer coming out here. Hey! Take a wet rag, and we just run it across the bricks so that the pizza crust doesn't get too much soot on. Ooh, that's hot. All right, so here's my plan for these oysters. I'm gonna put them in the oven, get them open a little bit so I can shuck them easily. I'm not gonna put them on the pizza and have it cook the whole time together, because I don't want the oysters to get too tough. So I'm gonna pre-cook the crust. I'm going to fry up some fresh garlic in olive oil, and I'm gonna add basil, I'm gonna add some breadcrumbs, a ton of Romano cheese, and then we're gonna put it all together on the pizza crust with some tomato sauce. I've never done this before, but that just felt like the right thing to do. Right, Shan? What do you think?
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah, that plan just sounded right. So that's what we're going to do. Let me heat this oil up first. Can you see me? Oh, yes, you can. Let's get this pan good and hot, and then we'll add the garlic after the fact. That's going to take probably 30 seconds or so to get hot, because it's crazy hot in there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my garlic in the pan with the oil. Oil's good and hot. Beautiful. I'm going to put also some chopped up sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to put a ton of basil. Basil goes in everything, if you've noticed, in anything that I cook. And I'm going to put a generous portion of breadcrumbs as well. And then we're going to go back in the oven. Oh my, Chan, you smell that?
I know.
How's that smell? That's special.
I don't even know if it has to go in the oven. It's cooking, it's frying right here.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I know.
All right, so we're going to put that in there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, so we're going to put our oysters in the oven. Hopefully this is probably going to take a minute or so just to get those ready. That garlic mixture is probably just about ready. I'm just going to take this out and put it on the side. Actually, that can go a little bit longer. And I'm going to start working on our pizza crust. So let's take that dough that I had before. Round. Put some flour on it so it's easy to work with. Not too much though. I don't like too much flour on my dough. I'm going to press this out. So let me get that out. This is fantastic. That's going to be unbelievable. So that's going to sit here. I'm going to press this dough out, put some sauce on, just pre-cook the crust. Then we're going to put the oysters, some tomato sauce, and this beautiful mixture of garlic and olive oil and basil and sun-dried tomatoes is going to go on as well. That's the plan. I think it's going to be great. All right, so we're going to get this pizza crust ready for the oyster pizza. Just going to stretch it out, put a little sauce on it, put it in the oven, and get it just so it's hard enough so that I can put the other ingredients on afterwards. Because I don't want to put the oysters in the oven too long because I think they'll get tough, and we don't want that. So that's a good size for this amount of dough. How are those oysters doing? Gonna be ready to come open momentarily. I'm going to put a little pecorino romano on this. And some breadcrumbs as well. And we're going in the oven. All right, so we have our oysters open. They're all shucked. I cut them in half because they were pretty large. I'm going to drop them right in my frying pan. Check this out, Shan. Come a little bit closer. We're going to give them a little bath with our oil and our sun-dried tomatoes and our cheese. Oh my God, that's going to be unbelievable. I have my, that's a lot. I have my crust all ready to go. And so I'm just going to spoon it out like that. I'm pretty excited about this, Shan, I have to tell you. I missed a piece there. And we're just going to drizzle a little oil on the top. All right. We'll take this. Spread these out a little bit nicer. All right, we're going to put a little mozzarella on here as well. A little dab of sauce as well. And then when it comes out, we're going to top it with some more pecorino romano. What do you think, Shan?
I'm excited.
Right,
yes, sounds delicious.
Going back in. That's going to be ready in about 30 seconds. It's going to be fantastic. Yum. That's going to be delicious. Looking good in there. All right, so now we're going to make the pepperoni pizza for my son Nicholas, because that's what he likes. And then we're going to make a plain for John. Shannon and I are going to have that calzone and the oyster pizza. It's going to be unbelievable. So glad you're here with us. Stretch this out. Put some sauce. Now my pizza sauce is cooked. I just like it that way. Most pizza stores don't use a cooked pizza sauce on their regular pizza. Some use a cooked pizza sauce on their Sicilian, but typically they buy a pizza sauce, they season it up themselves, and it goes in the refrigerator. I'm not crazy about that. This is the same sauce that I use if I'm making pasta or whatever else. It works for us here. Everybody seems to like it. All right, so we have our cheese, we have these big, beautiful slices of pepperoni. Calzone's looking good. That's got to get a turn. Oh my God. That's going to be good, Shannon. All right, got plenty of room there in the middle. And we are going in. Bring you guys with us. And we're all ready. I put the oyster pizza on a pan in there because the bottom was getting a little too dark, which I didn't like. Everything looks fantastic. We'll be ready to eat in about 5 minutes. All right, so the oyster pizza is all ready. Just going to finish it up with a little Parmesan. I mean, it looks unbelievable. I mean, my goodness, I can't wait to get into that. So we're going to let it sit and cool here for about 2 minutes or so, because when you cut it before it's ready to be cut, and that's why we use these racks. That way there's, the air can escape. It's not going to get too much moisture, and that's how it gets soft and soggy. And so that's why we have that on there. So here's the final product. Hey, Nick, you ready for some pepperoni pizza? We have Nikki's pepperoni right here. We have our Oysters Rockefeller Pizza for Shannon and I. A beautiful calzone and a plain for John. This couldn't be any better, man. All right, I just heated up a little bit of sauce for our calzone. Nikki, you gonna get into that pepperoni?
Yum.
It looks delicious. It looks great. John, how's that pizza?
It's good.
Awesome. I'm gonna put a little tomato sauce over our calzone.
Tails, Amy, snow?
You want tails, Amy, snow? Sure.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
All right, how's the pizza? How's it taste? Oh, God. Profile shot. That's
wait.
magic right there. Woo. Nikki. It's raining out there. Oh, my God. Sean.
Yum.
The flavor with the basil and the prosciutto.
Good.
Yeah, really good. Look at the consistency. Okay, John, it's raining.
What happened?
Yeah, it's great.
You okay? It's on full bill.
Wow. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening. I hope you enjoyed the recipes. God bless you. We love you, and we're going to see you next time.